Hello, hello, and good evening. Hello, gentlemen. How are you all doing?
Doing good, Stacey. How are you?
I'm excellent. Thank you so much. And hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us at the JTDA. This is Tech Talk Tuesday, and it is Tuesday, June 30th, last Tuesday in June. Guys, can you believe it? First half of the year done,
Exactly.
Over. Can you imagine? Okay, so everybody that's joining live, I'm inviting you to please use your chats and throw us questions that we can integrate during the course of our conversation with these gentlemen today. And we're going to be talking all things AI, but in a very specific context. And I'm very excited because I have a nice, how you'd say, a nice smorgasbord, a nice arrangement of experts that are going to share from different perspectives that are all critical in how MSMEs actually run their businesses and find somewhat more ease with doing business because they get to leverage AI. So I'm going to introduce the fellows, and then I'll introduce very briefly myself. Of course, I'm Stacey, your AI lady boss. And starting with Andre. Andre Piper is a software engineer and AI entrepreneur with over 10 years of experience building scalable platforms and distributed systems across the Caribbean and North America. He is founder of XYZGent. That's cute. An AI agent platform that enables operations teams to build, deploy, and scale autonomous, which means that they work, agentically by themselves, automated, not much human intervention or interaction, AI workflows without code or infrastructure overhead. Andre also serves as fractional CTO for Seven Crave. I'm a customer, a Caribbean marketplace where he drives technology strategy and digital transformation. Say hi, Andre.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Stacey, for that wonderful introduction.
Great. And then we're going to move over to Mr. Michael Mullings. Hello, Michael. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing good, Stacey. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Awesome. Nice to be on stage with you again. And guys, Michael is a technology entrepreneur as well, and he's the founder and CEO of Chatflow Limited. Chatflow is an AI-powered customer engagement platform that helps enterprises in emerging markets deliver faster, smarter support using local dialects. And we all know that we need to be able to translate the patois into the English so everybody can understand it. So I love that. They have over 12 years of experience spanning data science, product leadership, and enterprise partnerships. Michael advises organizations on digital transformation and practical AI adoption. Wagwan, Michael. The AI chat was supposed to be able to just say Wagwan, Stacey.
Understand that, man. Definitely, 100%.
Awesome. Welcome, Michael. Next, I'm going to introduce Dwayne Harris. Dwayne is the founder and CEO of Brand Aid. Let me tell you, my brand could use some aiding right now, Dwayne. Okay, we're going to have to talk after. It's a Jamaica-based AI-powered revenue infrastructure company helping SMEs and enterprises to automate lead capture, qualification, and follow-through using agentic AI tools like Abby and TapCard. Dwayne has over 20 years experience in marketing and deep experience in Caribbean insurance and financial services. So Dwayne has helped companies turn AI agents into measurable revenue infrastructure, not just productivity tools. And let me tell you, Dwayne, that is the hottest topic lately, is how to get value from these AI agents, right? So say hey to everybody.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. Great to meet you guys.
Excellent. Okay, and last but certainly not least, another person I've been able to share stage with before, Mr. Carey Sharp. Carey has spent over 25 years building digital solutions that help Caribbean businesses and institutions work smarter. As CEO and founder of Head Office Inc., Carey is building enterprise software tailored for Caribbean businesses, and he serves as the third VP for the MSME Alliance, advocating for policies that level the playing field for micro and small enterprises. As a software architect and entrepreneur, he focuses on technology that solves real problems, from modernizing banking systems to enabling digital payments and improving how organizations manage their operations. Nice to see you again, Kerry. Welcome.
Same here. Thank you for having me. Hi, everyone.
And I am Stacey Hines, your AI lady boss, CEO and founder of Epic Transformation and creator of DAVA and the Caribbean AI Summit, which is coming up for its second run, July 17th to 18th. So this conversation tonight is really, really important, and especially on the heels of World MSME Day. Did you guys know there was a day called World MSME Day? Yes?
Yes.
It was on Saturday. Yeah, June 27th. And I don't know how many people actually recognize how important that sector is, our MSME sector. And globally, MSMEs are responsible for approximately 60% of economic GDP. So if you are empowering and enabling that MSME sector, then you are really empowering and enabling economic infrastructure to work globally. And I love that each of you are doing so focused on Caribbean businesses, because we're unique, don't it? We have our own issues and our own problems and our own solutions that we need to apply to those problems, right? So I'm going to do a quick check-in with you guys, and those of you that are watching, right? I want you guys to actually weigh in on the chat, and even if you watch the replay, guys, I still want you to jot down an answer to this question when you watch this part. If you could hire a digital employee for $20 a month that never slept and could handle all your invoicing and scheduling, which human task would you happily delegate first? It's an interesting question. Which human task would you delegate first? I'm thinking like, I hope somebody's watching and they can drop something in the chat, because it kind of gave you a little answer, and then it said which human task would you, it said it handles all your invoicing. So I wasn't quite sure about that one, but let's see what we get back when persons drop it in the chat. So let's talk, guys, for a second around your digital employees. That's where I actually want to start. I want to start with each of you sharing which of your digital employees is your favorite and why. And then I'll dive into the more technical questions. So why don't we just start with you, Kerry, since you and I talked about digital employees just recently. You're on mute.
Yes, so for me, I have a couple of them, a handful of them, specifically around coding and around marketing. So those are the two agents that I really love and use almost on a daily basis, especially the coding agent.
The coding agent. Okay, so you don't have to be writing the lines of code.
I have not written a line of code in a very, very long time.
Nice.
Here.
Nice. Okay. Well, since you chimed in, Michael, what is your favorite AI employee and why?
Oh, great. Honestly, it's the one that allows me to stop the chasing. I know it's very hard for us as founders, especially technical founders, the circling back on emails every 3 days to either follow up on an invoice, So I want us to focus, or any SME to focus really on the hours that you're losing by following up on, like an invoice that you don't want to get back. I really think that agentic tools should be focused on, or the use of them should be focused on anything that is time bound. Again, I don't want us to put the thinking towards the AI tool. I want us to focus on the repetitive, mundane tasks that we can get back to, as Kerry would say, focus on the workflow for the coding itself, to improve that workflow itself. So those mundane things that I probably resent on a daily basis, like following up on an invoice, is very important, because again, at the end of the day, if you don't have revenue coming in and you can't do collections, then you don't have a business, right? So that's something repetitive, and we want to follow up on something like that to ensure that, I'm sure Brandy will talk a little bit more about that as well. That's their specialty.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. And since he tossed the ball to you, Dwayne,
I catch it.
Which is your favorite AI agent and why?
Well, I mean, obviously, it's the one that has to do with marketing and sales, right? I think one of the biggest issues a lot of companies have is a lot of companies have really good business ideas and business concepts, but what they lack is that element of finding or channeling the customer to the sale, right? And having a system that actually is able to do that for you and also follow up and then all you need to do is just actually log in and go to a meeting or just make a sale. Anything that cuts out that task of having to actually carry the customer through that sales funnel is by far the best thing for me, because I love doing the hands-on stuff, so the things that are moving the needle in my business. But everything else, when it comes down to sales, I'd want somebody else to do that, because I don't want to. I've been doing it for 20 years. I don't want to do it anymore.
Oh, I love that. So you're a funnel agent. Okay, great. Thank you very much, Dwayne. And Andre, how about you?
Thanks for that question. I mean, you guys touch a lot about different mundane tasks and putting the glue together. I'll talk more about my product specifically, because that fits everyone's need. But to answer the question, I'll do product onboarding. My product is currently in production now for 7 Career, but I mentioned before. Product onboarding is something very mundane. When it comes to marketplace, you have to put the pictures, you have to put the listings, etc., etc. My product now will just create a funnel for that. Customers send the data through that funnel, through that workflow, and it sets the data where it should be. Everything is cleaned, thumbnails are created, every single thing. The workflow is from start to finish. You set it, it repeats over and over, and everyone would have to focus on product onboarding. They'll have the product there and then to be sold immediately.
Oh, that's excellent. Wow, nice. That's actually, I like each of you have a kind of unique take on that. So you guys that are tuned in should actually already be seeing the possibilities that exist. And I know that there's a lot of friction that happens on the back end of business, right? A ton of friction. And what you guys have shared are essentially removing those primary friction points, which is where the pain comes from for a lot of our entrepreneurs. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that, gentlemen. All right. So we're going to move on to our first techie kind of question. And I'm going to throw the first one to you, Michael, just because your business is called Chatflow.
Chatflow.
I'm just gonna toss it to you. So the question is, what is the difference between a simple chat bot and an AI agent that can actually take actions in your banking or inventory software?
All right, so let's keep it simple. A chatbot answers and an agent acts. I want to keep it very simple for the non-technical people, and my colleagues on board can let me know if I'm wrong. They seem to be nodding, so I'm on the right track.
Yeah, that's
so again, thank you guys. So, simply what we want to focus on really is that, chatbot tells the customer how to check their order status, right? Just like when you go to 7 Career, if you get interactive with their customer support, you'd see something similar. And then an agent can actually check the order status and provide or process refund if that's part of the controls you allow it to have, or even update CRM on the back end as, with branded that what they do. So, you want to think a little bit more of doing the task and having access to tools that's agentic. Answering questions from a knowledge base would be more of a chatbot per se. So that's simply how you would want to put it.
Okay, great. Carrie, over to you next. In thinking through the idea of chatbot versus agent, based on probably the customers that you're interacting with now, where do you see they have maybe opportunities that they're not taking advantage of in that space? So maybe they come to you asking for the chatbot, because I think a lot of times that's where a person starts. They see this thing on the website and you're coming on, you have head office and you're like, guys, this is far more than just something that can answer questions. What are some of the opportunities that you see that people are not taking up because they're thinking chatbot and not thinking agent?
So they're actually not coming to me for chatbot. They're actually coming to me for head office integrations or tools. So they're coming to me saying they want to be able to communicate with the chatbot, the agent, what to do, and then the agent will execute on it. So, for example, they want to customize invoice a particular way, and they would then put whatever metadata and give it to the agent, and the agent will then generate invoices for them. So it's more about how can I make the mundane task less, like things I don't want to do. There's something, so we're, in terms of head office, didn't speak much about, but the head office, we're integrating so that way every tool that's in the head office the agents can use, and therefore pretty much anything from bank reconciliation to invoice generation to follow-ups, etc. So it's a full agentic workflow that we have in head office.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. And for making the distinction between what they actually come for. and that people are actually asking for that now, because I don't know that they were doing that a year ago or 6 months ago, so that's good. That's good. Okay. Now, moving on to Mr. Brand-Aid, I wanted to talk a little bit about how Jamaican SMEs can use agentic workflows to compete with larger international firms without increasing their headcount. And of course, this is a significant area of scope usually for marketing. I want to compete outside of my borders. I need visibility. I need to be able to interact with people that way. So I'd love to hear your take on how they can use agentic workflows to compete with larger international firms without increasing headcount.
Well, the first thing is, the beauty about AI is that it presents a level playing field for everybody. I made a post on my Instagram the other day that this is possibly the first time Jamaica has an opportunity to be on par with the first worlders in terms of being the first to be a part of the technology and actually build our own technology. So we're not only tailored to want to depend on the US's and the UK's and all these people. We can actually create our own. Just on the panel right now, you have somebody who does coding very well. You have somebody who has a chat system that answers calls and so on. And you have a person that actually builds products, and you have somebody that markets. So just by that alone, these are young Jamaican people that are able to create these systems by just learning and using the knowledge that they do to figure out solutions. A lot of people think that AI is about just prompting. AI is actually about coming up with solutions for problems that exist in our world. And the persons that can come up with these solutions will be the persons who will be the ones that can actually use AI to the best of their ability. So, and to actually increase business. So I would say, for any entrepreneur out there who is looking to expand and be global, you're not limited. A simple chat GPT or a Claude can actually help you to build your own AI agents that can do many things for your business. And it's only $20 per month, right? So it's just like even with my business, I create a system where I have you get a personal AI personal assistant with a card. And that in itself allows you to have a personal assistant that you're paying $35 a month for. And that person answers the phone, make inquiries, call people for you, and so on, and then share your information and all of those things. So the idea is that there's no limit when it comes on to MSMEs right now in terms of what they can accomplish from this little dot in the world. So there's no limit. There are many things that we can do. It's just a matter of you just researching and finding tools that you feel comfortable with, and not only finding the tools, but actually finding the solutions that can actually make those tools support your business.
So can I just chime in just to support what Dwayne just shared? So for head office, for example, when we relaunch our website, we wanted to expand our reach, right? We're getting reasonable traffic. But when we use the agents to go through and fix the content, fix the information, add missing information, and so on, we grew by over 1,600%, which is phenomenal. And we're reaching countries that would never saw visiting our sites before, etc., and expressing that interest and adding to our waiting list. So it's $20, right? And it doesn't take a very long time, because it took me probably a few hours in one day just to revamp the entire website. So anybody can do it. And if you want to go global, then these agents can help you because they have the knowledge to be able to apply it to your website to make it better.
Okay. No, thank you for that. And one other thing I want to add that kind of came to me as Dwayne was talking about deploying agents, right? Because I think sometimes when MSMEs hear a lot of techies get together, like we all are here today, and talking, they're thinking, oh my gosh, this is so technical. I know you say it's easy. I know you said Claude is cheap, but I don't necessarily want to get into the agent space. What I would share with you all as MSMEs is that it doesn't have to look like you deploying an agent, right? You really have to think about what you are looking to create with your business for visibility's sake. If you're trying to do business internationally, you're going to need some kind of mechanism, and you probably think, okay, I need a website. Well, once upon a time when you needed a website, you'd have to figure out the designer, and then maybe the person that is designing it is different from the person that's building it. And then if you're connecting it, you may have different persons that you have to think through. Now you can literally just go to Lovable and do a mock-up or a prototype. So you don't have to worry about deploying agents, because that's not the conversation that you're having with the tools. You're having the conversation about the problem you're trying to solve, what you need for your business, and applying it that way, right? So Andre, I want to come, sorry, Dwayne, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I just want to say that it's a phenomenal thing, because as a founder or a business owner, you have the opportunity to actually just share your vision and somebody brings it to life. Even at the rawest form, you're able to share that vision with a particular chat, and it can bring that to life. And then you can take it to a Andre, or you can take it to a Michael and say, this is my vision. I already have it mocked up. Now you can add your expertise to actually execute. That's how simple it can be.
Yes,
Precisely.
yes, 100%.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, Andre, I actually want to take a little bit of a different approach with your question, because I want to talk about taking 7Crave down that agentic route and actually getting the value from it. So we would have heard from Carrie and Dwayne about how available this is to us at a nominal price, right? I remember getting on to 7Crave during the pandemic. I mean, it was a lifesaver for me, not even so much because I was getting the food, but my kids, oh my God, they were driving me crazy. And so everybody was just like told, go to 7Crave and order what you want, right? Because, you're in that confined space. Now that was generative AI.
Yes.
You had AI before, you had your machine learning, and you had different types of technology that was behind the scenes, not really accessible. What happened inside of 7Crave when it was, okay, now we have these tools and we can actually create a seismic shift with how we deliver value to our customers?
AI has been a revolution for everyone, and for SMEs and larger companies, it's like a cheat code for executives who want to use it wisely. They don't want to throw AI on top of everything. You have to select pain points, select repetitive, boring tasks that they can automate and use workflows. I don't want to continuously plug my product, but with my product, as what Dwayne said, you could think it, ask it, point it to a data source, and it does it. So for example, something as mundane as looking up a refund because someone said they might not get they got the wrong product from the marketplace. With the AI tool, they could say, hey, the customer could come on it, do a request. The agent in the background could type refund policy, refund for customer A. It does it using the different workflows that's on top of my system. It points the agent would know all the different workflows and it would execute that workflow. Before, someone had to go on a system, initiate a return, call the customer, do all that. Right now, everything is a workflow from start to finish, and the end product is you get a refund and you get a nice little email and say, hey, you got a refund for the product. Thank you very much. And just in case there's an extra pain point, you might say, hey, there's a coupon. Right? So everything is AI driven, workflow driven. It's a cheat code, as I mentioned before. Yes. And AI is very cheap now, right? You don't have to use frontier models. So you could use cheaper models to scale the product, and you could compete with the big guys. I'm competing with the big guys. You have N8, you have Make.com. Those guys got like $100 million funding. I am bootstrapped, and I'm competing with these guys from a product point of view. And yeah, it's a very exciting time for entrepreneurs.
Okay. Michael, you were going to add?
Yeah, I was going to add to what Andre said. The key thing is here, don't boil the ocean, as Andre was alluding to. Start with that one workflow, that repetitive task, and get that right first, and you move on to the others, because it's gonna operate like a dream when all those workflows work together in sync. You're saving time, and the most importantly, the business that you're working for or as your customer is paying for not just the resolution but the outcome. So you can move away from a billable hours model. I'm going into some unit economics here now, guys. Moving to billing them on an outcome basis, which is what's happening in my particular industry. So, I see that from an automation perspective, and, thinking about all these tools, the more outcomes you have is the better for you. Then maybe if you as an SME, if you're looking at multiple outcomes, you can get a discount from these suppliers as well. So it makes your life a little bit easier. The cost is lower. And as Andre alluded to, there are a lot of new models out that are available, whether they be Chinese, whether they be European models that you can tap into, that the cost is lower for you as an SME to get started, and you can have them on device as well, which allows you to, one, use your own compute, save on, the extenuating costs of doing it in the cloud.
Okay. All right. Now we're talking about models that people can use very easily, right? Other than Claude, ChatGPT, or Google Gemini, or Copilot. This is a challenging one.
We don't talk about Copilot.
Yeah. There's no Copilot.
There's no Copilot.
No.
Is that like a bad word in tech land? Is Copilot just like we don't even talk about it?
Yeah,
it's the one that shall not be named.
Oh my gosh.
It's horrible.
Is that true? Copilot shall not be named.
So that's where I started. So I'm gonna give it its props, but it's just a glorified like autocomplete. Yeah. So it's not really, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay. And I have a Copilot webinar coming up next week because so many people, real talk, so many people have Copilot at work and that's all they can use, right?
Yeah.
So they have this. You sound
That's
so sad for those people. Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyway, back to the question. Aside from the 4 most commonly known LLMs, I would love to hear a recommendation for a low-cost tool that can really make a difference in an MSME's work life. I'll allow anybody to start because maybe you have to think about it. I don't know.
No, I'll jump right in before they steal it.
The answer to everybody, like, all right.
Let's make sure them don't take this one. So it's GLM 5.2 that just came out. It's basically, they're saying that I haven't tried it myself, but it's as good as Cloud Opus. So if you're looking for a cheap one, then the GLM 5.2 will be good. And I think it's a fraction of the cost of Opus.
Okay.
So that's open source as well. So you're able, if you have the hardware, you could actually download it and run it locally as well. So therefore, your privacy and so on. So that's a good model to check out.
Okay, so that's GLM 5.2. Guys, I hope you're writing this down. Okay, who's next?
I guess I'll go. Oh, Andre, you can go ahead. Go ahead, because you're sure, Andre?
Yeah, I'll go ahead. So my favorite model out of all is Kimi. I love Kimi, which is Moonshot AI.
Yeah.
I think of Kimi as like the champion model for every single task it could do at a fraction of the cost of the frontier models. It does image, it does text, it ingests PDFs, every single thing, right? It's so cheap that it allows me to compete with as I said, the big guys to launch production products and to scale XYZGent. Without Kimi and those cheap models, I would have never been able to launch this product from a bootstrap point of view. So I think SMEs can tap into that. And the product has Kimi built in also, so you could switch. It's multimodal. I can switch between Kimi, could GLM, all the frontier models and the cheaper models.
Okay, all right. So guys, I hope you're stacking. Make sure you're writing on your AI stack. So we have Kimi by Moonshot AI. And before that, we had GLM 5.2. Okay. All right, Michael, you next.
So I was going to say Kimi, but, Andre, big up for that plug. Kimi is amazing. I'm going to give a plug here for DeepSeek. It's very good for research. So I want to take a little bit of a different approach. The latest DeepSeek model is very, very good for research. If you're in that space, you're doing data mining, or any type of corporate research, there is an offline model that you can use that does not connect to the internet. So a shameless plug for DeepSeek in that regard. So anyone that's looking to the research or write research papers, I'd say definitely give that one a good look.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. And Dwayne?
Well, these guys have actually listed everything I was thinking about. So it sucks that I'm the last person to go. I'd say for me, let's talk about on the marketing side, you have Higgsfield and you also have Manos, which is really good as well. So on the marketing side, I would go with that. If you're a more techie person and you want to automate stuff in your business, I would also suggest go high level. They actually have a full CRM that you can implement in your business as well, if it is that you want to go that route. So yeah, I would say those along with all the others that they already stole.
You gave me like 3, dude, and we were but that's okay. That's okay. All right. So let's cover that back for you guys. GLM 5.2, Kimi by Moonshot AI, DeepSeek, which is a pretty popular one out of China for research. And Carrie, was it you that gave me the plug the other day that if I was thinking of building my LLM, because I told you I was working on building my own LLM, to use DeepSeek first as my base and then disaggregate from it? That was you?
Yeah.
Okay, great. And then there's Higgsfield, which I use. I'm training up my Higgsfield right now, though, because I'm still not getting the images just the way I like them, but that's okay. Manos is expensive. So I'm not even about to plug in Manos. Still Meta get the price down. Let me forget the price. You know, one UGC request and the money done. Okay. And go high level. I'm actually a go high level customer, and I've seen where the introduction of agentic AI inside of Go High Level has been just like, whoa, you know, so it builds AI workflows for all your emails. Like you don't have to, you know, rack your brain over it, funnels and that kind of stuff. So, oh, this is excellent. Okay. I'm totally geeking out. So thank you guys for that. Next official technical question. All right. This one now is, I think, the area that is most crucial for any MSME, especially in the space where we have bad actors, right? So with technology, we've also now have a handbag called cybersecurity and data privacy. And truth be told, there is a lot of trust issues around leveraging AI and using AI tools, and a lot of fear and uncertainty. So I'd love to hear from each of you on how we manage the trust gap when an AI agent is authorized to spend company money or talk to customers. So Michael, I'm going to start with you on this one, in particular because there's a lot of customer interfacing that you do on a day-to-day basis, right? So how do you manage that trust gap?
That's a great question. I think a lot of people wouldn't do what I do first. I started research. And because of that research, we're able to develop a patented technology, especially in the customer service space, called a liability shield. And what that essentially does is part of our governance and guardrails for, you know, advocating for safe AI. It allows us to identify bad actors and block them immediately. It allows us to not have anybody hijack our own proprietary models that we use in customer service, and especially in an environment outside of the fact that, you know, you need to have the right security certification to ensure that your stack is protected, you know, so whether it's the ISO 12007, which we have, SOC 2, because you want to take payments in chat, etc., you want to ensure that you have these things. But on top of that, most importantly, from a trust perspective, you have to have the right guardrails in place, especially in agentic workflows where you're giving these models, whether they're proprietary, whether they're commercialized, access to tools from your customers. You want to ensure that your customer is protected as well, because you're touching sensitive information, whether it's through APIs, webhooks, and it's in a black box configuration. You want to ensure that, you know, you build that trust framework with them, because at the end of the day, these are big corporate entities, and if you mess up, it's you creating another bottleneck for everyone else in that industry. So you want to ensure that you do the right thing. And for me, wholeheartedly, governance is so much important. Jamaica Data Protection Act must become your best friend. Anyone in the agentic space, and I'll tell you, I know Section 16, Section 21, all the way up to 28 by heart now, because of all these frameworks and sessions that I have to have on a monthly basis by working with these regulated industries that I work in right now. So I think it's very, very important that if you are using these models yourself, that you have the proper guardrails in place, especially if somebody's communicating in a chat style to your model. You need to have guardrails, because somebody's going to try something malicious one day. I can guarantee you that. And I see a whole heap of that every single day, whether somebody's just trying to see if it's going to work, if it's going to break. I encourage them to try. It gives me an opportunity to go test and improve what I do on a daily basis. And again, it helps with research.
Okay, thank you for that. Andre, I'm going to come to you. Do you have anything to add?
Yes, I mean, Michael, I made some very good points regarding the ISO and the SOC 2, because agentic workflows, you're asking persons to input data. So it could be sensitive data. So within my stack, we have PII, which is personal information shields. So if you want to turn on that, all data is cleansed before it hits any external LLMs. We know that we're living in a very geopolitical time now, where some people might use US-based frameworks, US-based models versus Chinese models. Well, with our platform, everything sensitive is hidden before it touches any external sources. And yeah, I agreed with all of those guardrails. And specifically, I have something called human in the loop, right? So if, for example, you have a workflow that needs to execute payments, with human in the loop, it triggers a notification to you, for example, Stacey, to pass or to approve a payment, for example. So every step of the way in which it needs mission critical executions, it could put human in the loop as a guardrail to stop any intrusive persons from executing that agent.
Okay, no, thank you for that. Now, Kerry, I want to come to you because, of course, you navigate with head office being integrated inside of, some of the more personal areas of business. I call them personal because this is where your financial flow through happens, or through flow happens. Do you have any thoughts on AI spending money and AI navigating on behalf of companies, sensitive information, payroll, those kinds of things?
So in terms of head office, where we'd sit on that is that we anonymize data, so that the AI doesn't know who or what it's doing it for. There's a number in our case, and therefore when it responds, we restructure the whole data and then link it back to the actual person. So the AI doesn't know or has any information about the person. We keep that away from it. So we anonymize the data before we actually send it over. Also, in terms of, we have rules, simple business rules that we put in place to prevent things. So in terms of limits, for example, in terms of what can be done, we have role-based access control. So therefore, the agent can only access these set of things, these set of tools, this set of data, and it can't go across to another customer's data. So we have rules in place and guardrails in place. So it actually has to execute within a framework that locks it down and prevents it from doing anything outside the scope of what it needs to do. So it's a lot of work, and prompt injection attacks, as they have mentioned, guardrails, very important. But anonymizing data, so the AI doesn't know or understand what is happening or who it's happening for, etc., is very important.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for that. Dwayne, you were going to add?
All right. So what the good thing about having a bunch of guys who are technically savvy is that you can kind of get to understand the technical side of it. But I want to take it from the non-technical people who are watching, right? The first thing I would say is start your AI with doing very small tasks within your business. Start there first. Don't just give it everything one time. You want to start and see how it operates, how it handles the information, and then it can keep on increasing the responsibilities that it has. All of these things that these guys mentioned are very critical to ensuring that there's safety and data protection. However, there's a reason why a doctor is a doctor, right? You have professionals like these guys who are here, who are really good and are in the space. So if it is that you want to take your business to the next level, after you have done it initially, it is good to seek help. Not necessarily from any one of us here, but find someone who actually knows what they're doing and can help you to put all of these guardrails in place. Because as Eric just mentioned, it's very technical and sometimes very tedious. But if you have the right professional, like Michael, who does this for other companies, they'll be able to guide you and give you the right tools to put in place so that you don't have these problems. But my thing is, start small first. Give it some simple tasks first, and then you increase it after a while.
Okay. No, that's really good advice, especially if you are in the space of wanting to start but not sure how. or you've already started and maybe you have just this giganormous AI stack with all these different tools, and you're kind of feeling a bit overwhelmed, which I know a lot of people are going through that now. I think that's really good, good advice. I did want to touch on something though that I think is related to what Dwayne introduced, and it's about readiness, right? And my platform, which is a business advisory platform called Dava, focuses on first measuring readiness of the MSME to go through transformation. And a lot of times it's the step that they skip, right? They don't necessarily want to go through that and figure out the strategy and the roadmap, which is of course what I love to do, but they don't necessarily like to do that. So it's like, all right, so how can AI help you with that? But with the readiness piece versus adoption, before they bring in the agents at all, what internal cleanup needs to happen first? Things like their processes and data has been a huge conversation, not about whether they have data or not, because I think we have the data. It's just what that data looks like, how it is, stored. That's not a big book, we're a big book region. What are the things that they need to clean up before? Is there a checklist of some sort? I don't know who wants to take that one first.
I'll try.
Okay.
Since everybody has been first already, I'll try for the first.
You've been keeping track, Dwayne.
Yeah, I'm keeping score, right? I would say, and this is something that I've done over the past year. The first thing you need to do is do a full audit of your business. You need to do a full audit of your business and understand where your business is and where you want to take your business and how your business is currently operating. And then after you've done that, that is when you start to look at the areas in where you can actually implement the AI or the AI, the agentic AIs, right? So the audit is first, and then you want to have clear standard operating procedures for each of those different segments of your business. Once you have these basic things, it creates the platform for you to be understanding what tools and how you want to implement these tools within your business. So I said the first thing is to do an audit. The second thing is to have standard operating procedures that not only your company or just not only your AI adheres to, but also yourself and other members of your business. I think that is where it starts, and everything on that, I'm sure Kari and Michael and Andre will add, the stacks. No pun intended.
Anybody want to add to that, Michael? I see you're on.
Sure, I'll go ahead. As Dwayne said, it's important to ensure that you have clear operating procedures. I think that's one of the challenges I face with big corporate entities, especially on the customer service side. They know what they need to do. They know how they need to say it. They know what the processes are, but they're not clearly documented. But fortunate for them, I can handle unstructured data and unstructured process very well. I've encountered that while I was in the BPO. So that's something that I plan for. I know that it's a challenge. But for the customers who genuinely have their ducks in a row, it's game on, right? But it's very, very important to have those things in place. And not only that, if you get to the place where you're a very large enterprise, which is where I play, you want to ensure that your data warehouse is in place and it is in check. Meaning that for somebody like Andre would want to come in to do some form of automation, he wants to know that the data warehouse is accessible. The data is in place, the columns make sense, the rows make sense, and the information is accurate as per the type. I know I spit off a lot of things there, but it's it's very important that at its core that the data is in a way that it's readable and we can transform it in what we need to get to that end result. Or else it doesn't make sense. Hopefully that made sense.
So just what Michael spoke about a while ago in terms of the preparation, Dwayne went high level, and what he said in terms of SOPs and policies are is correct. But in terms of when you get to the lower levels now, the information that you have should be prepared in a way that the AI can consume it. Garbage in, garbage out. So for example, let's go to coding, right? If you've been writing bad code, they are going to look and say, oh, this is what is done, and then start to replicate that kind of bad coding style, and then things start to break. So even for what we were doing when we just started earlier, we spent months just refactoring and cleaning up everything to have it in a standard and structured way before we actually allow the AI to start to do work in the code base itself. So it's important that whatever your inputs are, they're cleaned up, they're organized, they're structured in a particular way, because the AI is pattern driven. So whatever patterns it discovers is what's going to replicate and use going forward.
100% agree.
Good advice.
Agreed.
Andre?
Yeah, I mean, the guy is hitting the nail on the head. There's not a lot to say. But what I advise is after you do the initial discovery and figure out the SOPs, clean the data. When you're actually doing the implementation, and this is where a lot of companies fail. They want to do a lot. We keep going back to do bite size. So take the lowest hanging fruit, implement it. After you get that nice data cleaned up and ready, you inject it into a workflow and you say, hey, my customers, my frontline members are saving 1-2 hours per day. And measure the automations that you do. You could move to more harder workflows. And yeah, I agree with all the points that the guys made. And I advise entities to bite size, right?
Yeah.
When the person's going into AI thinking that they can do a lot, they normally get overwhelmed or
Correct.
they just
No,
don't see the ROI.
I 100% support that. And part of what I typically see is that a lot of businesses, especially now, they think, well, AI is supposed to get me to move fast. And so, when they hear, but we need to audit or we need to do an assessment to see where you have opportunities, it's like, no, man, I just need to think, I have this to sell and I have that to do. So the pressure of running the business, right? It's the same thing. Before AI, MSMEs had a hard time finding time to work on the business because they were like wanting to be in the business. They just always sat in the execution of the business. But this is the one time that you actually want to set aside a couple of months, 2-3 months to sit down and really do that work. And the good thing about it is, and I'll go back to where Dwayne started with the audit. The good thing about it is that you can leverage AI to help you to start, right? So you don't have to be sat there trying to figure out where things aren't working and where the lowest hanging fruit is. You can leverage the AI to help you to do that. I actually did a 30-day Stacey's Life project in Claude, where every day I got up and I just talked to Claude throughout the course of the day. I wasn't really trying to create anything. I mean, every now and again I'd give it, tasks to do, but I just really wanted to talk to it for a month so it understood what the mess was happening in the back of my office. And then it could just come now and talk to me about where the lowest hanging fruit is, what I should prioritize, what's going to get me to the revenue the fastest, because of course that's most critical for your business to run. So just advising guys that even when you think about AI as something that's going to help you to move faster, you really do need to take the time to work on the business, and then you can use AI to support moving forward in a more organized and advanced way. So I'm looking at the time. We have about 13 minutes left. Keep me honest, please. I also see a couple of comments coming in. I'd love to have those up on the screen, my JTDA people. So
while I bring it up on the screen, just a note, AI can actually compound your workload if you're not careful, because you can do so much. The cognitive load can actually increase. Instead of doing 1 or 2 things, you're now doing 10 things. So you have to be very careful of how much you take on. So AI, it can go fast, but it can also increase your cognitive load, and you need to be very careful and mindful about that as well.
100%. I'm actually so glad you raised that, because there, even for AI experts, there is a lot of, I kind of tend to talk about it as overwhelm. I know you use the bright word, the cognitive load, but just to say that, and I don't know, are you sleeping now, Carrie? Because I remember a few months ago, like you were just.
No, like maybe 8 weeks ago I got some sleep, but
sleep is a concept, man. At this stage, it's a concept. Guys,
Sleep
don't boil it. Yeah, it's a concept.
It is.
We learned that early at university, Stacey.
We are, but we do have to make the time to actually work on the business, and I think that's probably a lot of where the pressure point is for a lot of entrepreneurs, solo founders, especially in that micro and small space where they are, a lot of the roles, they're the ones that fill them. It's like, when am I going to take the time? I'm already working 12-hour shifts, but it really will serve you to support yourself and the business by this is the one moment in time, I would say, it would behoove you to take the time and just sort out the things so that you can actually set yourself up properly for a future. And you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to, nobody's telling you to go out there and figure out how to code. You have 4 companies here that have systems that support businesses, and then you have a strategist that can help you figure out what to do. So, it's like it's all in one bucket. You don't have to do it by yourself, which is the whole point of being a part of this community, right? So
I was just about to, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say to close things out, but I want you to make your point, and then I'll go ahead with it.
No, I was just about to say just what you said a while ago. I know that sometimes it can be overwhelming, but I'm very heartened by the fact that, but I'm very happy by the fact that you have young professionals here who are in the space that know what they're doing. And a lot of times us as business owners, we're afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Reach out to anybody who is in the AI space. Just ask them, pick their brain, get a consultation, get some lessons on it. It will help with the cognitive, cognitive load?
Cognitive load.
It will help if you speak to somebody that already is there and is doing it, and they can help to guide you. As entrepreneurs, we are afraid to ask for help, and we should ask for help. I just wanted to just point that out.
No, that's great. And guys, just to talk about an opportunity that's coming up for you to connect with like-minded individuals from the business side, so other MSMEs as well as other founders and people that know how to use this technology and are showing you different ways that you can implement it so that your business can move forward. Caribbean AI Summit is coming up July 17th to 18th. I'm the founder and host, and I'm inviting you to join us, guys. We had a great time in March. Michael was one of our speakers. It was crazy in that room, and we expect it to be something similar coming up in July. And it's meant, this particular edition is meant for MSMEs and professionals who have side hustles who are trying to figure out what is the first step that I take. And on that note, I have this last question that I'm going to ask each of you to weigh in on. And Dwayne, I'm going to start with you first.
See, at the end of the day, I am still no more. At the end of the day.
It's fine, Dwayne. It's fine.
If you are talking to a 10-person business owner watching this tonight, right? What's the one thing they should do this week? And by 10-person business owner, what I mean is either they are the 1 in 10 and they're doing all these roles, or they have this small number of employees. What is the one thing that they should do this week, not this year or the second half of the year, but what is the one thing they should do this week to start moving in this direction to have a better business experience?
The one thing I would say, Stacey, is that they need to book for your conference, because I'm sure the wealth of information that will be there will help them to be guided by that. Right?
Oh, I love that.
In other words, I'm saying seek help. It is a new space that a lot of persons are becoming very overwhelmed on, but there are persons who are actually in the space that know exactly what they're doing. So I would say seek help. There's not one special thing that you can do that answers all the problems in your business, but what you can do is have a conversation with somebody who knows what they're doing, and they will probably guide you as to what are the areas they probably should focus on.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Dwayne. Andre?
With any topic, you have to seek persons that know what they're doing. And with AI, I can give an example. A friend of mine reached out to me the other day regarding their church. Right? A lot of churches is talking about AI, what they can do with AI. Is AI going to stop us from doing things? And I'm talking to them about AI, what they can do. As I mentioned before, the church members that should just tell us what they want to do. You could automate a prayer, a weekly prayer. You could automate something, and they've done it. They actually use my product to actually send out WhatsApp notification on a weekly to say a prayer, for example. So just to iterate, I think seek help regarding AI. Someone, don't be afraid of it. Just get to know it, talk to it, as I mentioned before, and it should be good from there.
Thanks for that. I will say to you though that my last couple of AI classes that I had, and I was like, okay, so now we're gonna use voice mode, and it was like, oh, I don't want to, it's gonna take my voice. Like we still have those kind of conversations happening. So when you
Exactly.
say talk to it, it's like getting acquainted, I think is even just the first step before you ask for help. Just get
Precisely.
acquainted. Carrie?
All right. So, because how AI is, it allows you to go pretty fast, right? But you allow it to go fast in the wrong direction as well. So you have to remember that the fundamentals are still true. So Dwayne alluded to it earlier. If you're going into this, then you have to sort your house out. What policies you have, what procedures you have, all those SOP stuff, document them, right? Because that can be a source that you pass to the AI that you can now use to operate in the way that your business is. So the fundamentals are still true. AI can make you go fast, but it can also make you go fast in the wrong direction. So you want to make sure you have your fundamentals proper before. Those things are not going to change. AI is just an enabler, and you want to enable you in the right direction.
No, that's good. Thank you for that, Carrie. And Michael, last comment.
Yeah, thank you. I'll end on the note that don't boil the ocean. Alluding to what Andre mentioned earlier, pick the lowest hanging fruit, start there. But most importantly, and I cannot stress this enough, if you can't measure the ROI, AI is not helping you. You're essentially just increasing the cognitive load, right back to Carrie's point. So again, don't boil the ocean, start with the lowest hanging fruit first. And then if you can't measure it, you can't achieve the ROI or against your balance scorecard. It's as simple as that.
Excellent. Okay, we got some great advice here for you, everyone. Do not try to boil the AI ocean, okay? There's a lot of conversation happening about AI right now, so it feels like, oh my gosh, I have to jump in and I'm gonna jump in the deep end. It does not have to look like that. You wanna make sure you're asking for help, and you are also making sure that you are measuring where that ROI is, like where are you gonna get the value at the end of the day, which is a huge component of readiness, is understanding what your vision is and how you're gonna get the value out on the other side of things. And also just making sure that you are keeping track of yourself in the loop. Like, AI can take you fast in the wrong direction. Go, garbage in, garbage out, greatness in, greatness out. If you are starting out with bad information, you're going to end up worse off and with a powerful tool behind you. So we want to make sure that we are heading in the right direction. So I want to say thank you to my gentlemen. It was lovely being the rose amongst the thorns. Great thorns. I'm just saying it was lovely being the flower among the thorns this evening. And thank you so much to everyone who joined us. Please join us at the Caribbean AI Summit coming up. JTDA was a partner in the last iteration, and we welcome you coming on to get free knowledge and insights, guys, from conversations like this one. Have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday, and we will see you on the next Tech Talk. Take care, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.